up, my lovely females? This is your boy Costa, your host for the evening. Behind me is Thomas Cub's house. Today is Thomas Cub's birthday, and this is Project X. Yo.
Welcome to Out of My Mind, the podcast to declutter the mind and be good for the soul. I'm your host, like every evening, Miss Kathy. And today we are doing a solo ep. Of course, we are wrapping up the year. I have taken a very long time to come out with this last 2 episodes just because I want to make sure that they are, I know not everything is perfect, people, but try my best to be as perfect as possible when it comes to doing these episodes, of course, for all of you. So today we are going to be talking about self-improvement, toxic relationships, and grief journey. Especially that the year is wrapping up. October just finished. October was a pretty good month. It wasn't bad. Nothing to complain about. I mean, there is ever nothing to complain about if you are living on this earth and get a chance to do it every single day, then there should be nothing to complain about. Anyways, and with only 2 months left of the year, it's very crazy because when I started this, I think we were in June, if I'm not mistaken, and to now be in November, and to think that just a couple months ago I started this podcast, and now it's a thing for me now to do all the time, because when you see people actually acknowledging your work and acknowledging what you're doing, it kind of gives you a, oh my god, ooh, awesome. So with the holidays being around the corner, I definitely wanted to get into grief, just because around the holidays or anniversaries at all, there's always talks about grief or losing somebody, and I know mostly around the holidays, a lot of people don't realize, but a lot of people do lose their jobs. They lose their jobs. A lot of people are going through the seasonal depression, if you would like to call it. If you don't know what that is, seasonal depression is an actual thing, if you don't believe it. It happens during certain seasons of the year, most often fall or winter. It's the thought of the shorter days and the less daylight may trigger a chemical change in the brain, leading to symptoms of depression. Light therapy and antidepressants can help treat SAD. That's literally what it's called, SAD, because it's seasonal affective disorder, or SAD, so it's a type of depression that people have. It's categorized as a mood disorder, so that's kind of also playing into a lot of people when they do go through grief, or they do lose a significant loss in their life, whether that's a job or a divorce or diminishing health or just relationships that ended, or possibly anything else that feels like just a big ass L to you. That's you grieving something. So with, like I said, the holidays and family time and trying to reconnect with loved ones and everything along those lines, a lot of people do grieve. It happens in many different forms, many different ways. A lot of people don't realize that. Basically, the more significant the loss, the more intensely the grief is experienced. Like I stated, the loss that results in grief include death, divorce, diminishing health, job layoff. Grief is a process that is different for everyone. Like I just said, your grief reactions are unique to you, and so it's a time frame within which you experience grief. Respect your grief process and seek support accordingly, just to however you cope, however you want to go about your own experience. Don't rush it, because the more that you rush grief and the more that you try to take charge of it or take control of it, anything like that, you're just gonna honestly mess yourself up. So take time with it, understand it, process your feelings, especially dealing with grief. There is stages of grief. So you have denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then acceptance. So I think there's like a couple more, if I'm not mistaken, or those might be it. But from my notes that I take, those are kind of the ones that I really kind of stood out to me. So denial, loss often comes as a shock, and we are resistant to accept it. Anger, a common emotion that accompanies loss. We may direct our anger rationally or irrationally at ourselves and at others and at higher powers, or even at loved ones who have passed. When we don't feel ready to experience a loss, or it cannot be justified in our own mind, anger is often the result. Usually a lot of people stay stuck in that time zone, and that's fine. That is totally fine. Like I said, you go ahead and take care of yourself the way that you need to, how you want to experience. Everybody's grief journey is very different from others. We bargain. We may try to make deals with a higher power to try to attain an outcome different than the loss that we are experiencing. Depression, like I stated, seasonal depression if somebody has gone, or there's somebody's anniversary, or the winter or fall is a kind of season that just, gets you kind of just not in the mood to be around people. Grief-related depression includes overwhelming feelings of sadness, emptiness. We may experience loss of motivation. Also, you can get physical feelings from this as well. Increased fatigue, confusion, and lack of concentration. We may also feel guilt because our inability to function and care for others during our grieving process. So I know from personal experience and seeing other people go through their grieving processes, I know that there's a major disconnection when it comes to dealing with grief, because you have one person that's trying to help and then one person that is dealing with the loss, and they kind of don't go hand in hand sometimes, because the other person feels like, maybe you're overpowering me, I feel suffocated, you're not letting me do my thing. And then the other person might feel like, hey, I feel like you're not here for me enough, you don't listen to me, I just want somebody to be there for me, or anything like that. So definitely there's two ways of the grieving process for both sides, which I definitely understand. And then the last stage, of course, is acceptance. This is a stage of recovery that is which we begin to find ways to accept our losses, reinvest in other parts of our life, and the pain of loss continues to be present but does not consume us. Learning and accepting what grief is, and understanding that you are going to lose things in life. Everybody goes. Kind of understanding the complex of death and trying to sit with your own thoughts and feelings and really understand yourself is probably going to help you more than you possibly imagine move throughout life. Because if you continue to sit back and dwell and do what if I could have changed this, my denial, my anger, and everything that could possibly come with that, you're definitely going to feel just stuck in a time lapse, and you're not going to feel like you want to do anything. Like it stated, no motivation. You're not going to want to be into the stuff that you're usually into, whether that's music, art, going to your job, having a little hobby on the side, like anything at all. It will kind of overtake you and make you into a whole different person. So if you do feel grief, or you feel like nobody's understanding you or nobody gets you, and there's so much going on in your mind, kind of just sit there and kind of just think about what you need to do moving forward for yourself, not everybody else. So if you want to grieve for 2 years, grieve for 2 years. If you want to grieve for a month, grieve for a month. Everybody's grief journey is very different. There's nobody's wrong or right grief journey at all. If somebody's telling you that you're not grieving right, well, ask them what it feels like to be you and to feel your own emotions, because if they answer back with a smart ass answer, then obviously you should not be around that person. When going through grief, you can express your feelings, finds way to not only talk about your feelings, but also understanding the multitude of emotions that you are going to have while going through all of this. Also write about them, express them through art, poetry, or music, if that's listening to music, making music, writing poetry, starting to write a book about your life if you want to. However you want to feel about that sadness that is overtaking you, do it. There's different things online that you can look over, and there's different websites that you can go through if you're looking for a grief journey for self-help, or whether you do want to go seek help. Try Psychology Today. Definitely working in the field that I work in, I hear a lot of unfortunate stories about people losing their loved ones, people losing their jobs, people getting divorces. I kind of hear it all day long. So understanding how it feels to be that other person, and then also being that listener for people, you definitely see so many different grief journeys and how people go about dealing with their own situations, and how they try to mask it, some of them, and some of them try to accept it, and some of them try to move on from it, and others can't move on from it. So definitely, if you're feeling that seasonal depression and you're going through a grief journey right now and you have lost somebody, 100% you're not alone. There is a lot of people losing their lives on a daily, if you really think about it. So don't always think you're alone going through anything. There's always people to talk to about these things, whether you do want to sit by yourself for a couple days and kind of process it on your own, or you do want to go talk to somebody. Definitely seek the help that is needed accordingly to your situation, because of course, like I stated, everybody's grief journey is different. You could be happy one day and be fine with it. The next minute you could be crashing down, crying on the floor, and thinking about that person all day. Going through my own experiences, I won't get too into that, but going through my own experiences losing people, and then trying to understand it and comprehend it. At such a young age, I lost somebody, and then recently, not too long ago, I did lose a friend. So trying to understand that and comprehend it at two different ages, and how your mind develops over the years. If you lose somebody as a child versus when you lose somebody as an adult, it definitely hits you different, and you try to process things more and more and try to understand, why certain people leave and what happens. And that's another conversation for another time. But definitely going through your grief journey, try to, throughout such a negative situation, try to think positively about it, and try to realize that there's always a back end to situations, and there's always a brighter side, if you want to think about it that way. I don't know. I mean, me personally, going through life and thinking so negative. Why can't I talk? What is wrong with me? Negatively about things. I've tried to kind of think about things as, like I stated in my other episodes, that hey, shit goes on, life happens. Kind of just take it to the chin, do what we have to do to get by, but always think as a positive outcome that everything kind of happens for a reason, because I believe that does happen. Whatever you go through, whatever grief you feel like you're going through and you feel like you're not going to get through it, you lost somebody, you miss somebody, kind of just put yourself first and think about what would make you happy in that decision, and what the pros and cons are. And if sitting in your bed all day and crying for 7 days makes you happy, then go do that. But you continuing to sit there and wallow and be sad over a situation that unfortunately, of course, is very sad. Taking any type of loss in any form is devastating, but realizing that situations do happen for a reason, and realizing that there's a better outcome, you'll definitely get through your grief journey more easily. But of course, you do have to go through those stages, because you will, no matter who you are, you will go through all those stages. No matter if you say you're head honcho of pain and you don't cry and whatever the hell people tell themselves now to not have emotions, you definitely will go through all of these, if not more. Not in the same order. You can go through them at different times, and definitely try not to stay stuck in such a negative headspace. And if somebody is trying to help you out and take you out of that, trying to think of the word. Come on, girl. What's that word that you're trying to think of? mojo, that's not the word, but it's the first one that came to mind, that mojo, then let them be there for you. Don't be an ass and try to be like, oh, I can do whatever, and I'm like the greatest at it all, and yeah, no. Nope. So yeah, that's my little conversation on the grief journey. Toxic relationships. Toxic relationships are glamorized. Is that the word I want to use? It is. Glamorized to make it seem like it's okay for a man or a woman, regardless of what it is, of what the situation is. I know people say it's easier said than done, but toxic relationships are definitely glamorized on television, definitely glamorized in movies of, oh my god, I want to be like Bonnie and Clyde, or I want to be like, what's another toxic relationship? Oh, let me make it simpler. Krishan and Blueface, whatever the fuck his name is, and then his baby mama and their crap that they have going on. Like, I feel like everywhere that you look, there's a toxic relationship, and not saying that there's so many perfect relationships out there in the world, because there's not. Not everybody's perfect. Not everybody has a perfect relationship, which is totally understandable. But if you're realizing that you're putting yourself through a toxic relationship, then there's some work there that needs to be done, people. Okay? Relationships always fall in two categories: positive or a healthy relationship. Those where couples support each other, show empathy and compassion to the other person, and where both parties are willing to give and take. Positive relationships are not always perfect, but when the couple has disagreements, they're able to work it out in a way that is mutually satisfaction and does not result in one person opposing their will or desires to the other. The other type of relationship is unhealthy, which is what we're getting into. We're not going to talk about happy relationships, because no matter what kind of relationship is, there is some type of form of toxicity, but more than... Hold on. There is a form of toxicity in a relationship, no matter who it is, because not all relationships are perfect, like I stated. But there's the perfect couples and the couples that work it out, that are willing to understand where they're wrong and try not to make the other person feel belittled or anything like that. So the other type of relationship is unhealthy. These relationships are often considered toxic, as they are actually emotionally and sometimes physically harmful to one person. And there's always either a competition, it's built on conflict, and they need one person to control the other. So definitely toxic people in general, that's what makes a relationship, is a toxic individual. So if you are with anybody, you're friends with anybody, you have a toxic family member, this just doesn't go for relationships, because people think relationships and automatically think of marriage or a boyfriend and girlfriend. But dealing with toxic individuals by nature, it's just who they are. It's definitely harder than it seems, because people be like, well, just get away from them, like, just leave it alone. But when somebody knows you and they pull your strings and they know how to get under your skin, and they do everything possible to try to manipulate you and try to just wean you back in, it's very hard to say no to somebody like that. Trust and believe. So for people that are like, oh, just get away, like, it's fine, like, just leave the person alone, just like, it's literally easier said than done. So don't be one of those people and try to be like, oh, well, it's so easy for so and so to do it. Well, glad so and so was able to do it, but I'm not able to do it. So don't be that person. And a couple signs of a toxic relationship, if you wanted to know. Toxic people do not show their negative side early in relationships. They're often extremely charismatic and they seem to be ideal or a perfect partner. Then over time, they start to show their true colors and become controlling, demanding, and emotionally abusive to their partners. And that goes for any relationship along the board. This is not just clarifying in a boyfriend girlfriend relationship or husband and wife. This goes for friendships or anything like that, because dealing with somebody, like I stated, that is just toxic in their nature, you're gonna feel like that hard chest feeling that people get. I don't know if I'm the only one that gets that around people that are very toxic, but like my chest starts to hurt. I like don't find interest in anything they're talking about. I just feel like they're nagging and complaining all the time. So definitely get away from them if that's you. I don't know why I'm sitting like this. Ugh. I think I like doing what I used to do. Okay. I need to put this hair back because it's just like so much of it. Holy shit. Where was I? Oh, signs of toxic relationships may take months or even years to evolve. Typical signs of these damaging relationships include, but are not limited to, like the, oh, but yeah. Damn, I moved that, okay. Isolation, ongoing disagreements and arguments, blaming, jealousy and dishonesty, denial and gaslighting, and then giving on everything. Just giving in on everything, basically. Isolation, the toxic person attempts to isolate the partner from family and friends to limit support and to increase independence on the relationship. So this is when this other individual is trying to make you stop talking to your family members, is trying to fill up your head with negativity about your family and trying to tell you that your friends don't support you on anything, they don't love you, they're not really your friends, whatever the case is. So they try to just kind of put you in a bubble and just kind of stick you there. Ongoing disagreements and arguments. What did I write? It is common for people dating in relationships to have minor disagreements, but toxic relationships are primarily based on arguments and negativity. The controlling partner is always belittling and putting down the other person or criticizing their attempts to do anything positive or independent. Blaming. A toxic person has no sense of personal responsibility or negative things in an event in a relationship. If the person is willing to take full responsibility for all good, but none of the responsibility for anything bad or unpleasant, this is a critical sign of toxic relationships. So I've seen this in a lot of relationships that I've had, or relationships that I've been friends with, or family members, or anything like that. Not that personally I have, but I've seen in other people's relationships that they either tell me like, oh, like we're talking about something and this happened, and he or she basically said like, oh, well, that wasn't my fault. That kind of sounds like I kind of blame that on you because of so and so. Or they try to flip the tables and try to say like, well, this wouldn't have happened if you would have done this, so it's kind of technically your fault, or whatever the case is. It's always never taking full responsibility through anything. It's only the good things of that happened. So if you feel like somebody is not validating your feelings and understanding where you're coming from when you're trying to sit down and speak to them about a situation, get out of there. Man or woman, boy or girl, whatever the situation is, if somebody's sitting there and blaming you and belittling you and making you feel like shit every day and not listening and understanding where you're coming from, bye. Goodbye. Jealousy and dishonesty. A toxic relationship is often where's that at? Oh my god, why do I always do this? I think I was talking about jealousy and dishonesty. Okay, jealousy and dishonesty. A toxic relationship is often one of the accusing a partner of flirting, dating, or even having a sexual relationship with someone outside of the relationship. At the same time, the controlling or toxic person may have actively and openly engaged in the same behaviors. So if somebody's blaming you for something and saying like, well, you slept with so-and-so and I know you did because I just know. And you'd be like, well, how'd you know? Well, I just know. Or they'd be like, oh, I know you're talking to so-and-so like this or this way. And then you'd be like, well, how do you know that? Like, how do you know that that's how I feel about that? Well, because I just know. Like, if they just tell you and repeatedly just tell you like, oh, I just know, or IDK, or I assume, or I think, or then they're having a guilty conscience about whatever the hell they're doing to you. So be Inspector Gadget 101 and turn on your detective skills, whoever you are. And if you feel like that's happening to you right now and go through that phone, find your proof, whatever you need to get out of that relationship, and confront whatever you need to do to get out of whatever you're in, and just leave that situation alone, because nobody deserves to be cheated on. Nobody deserves to be misled in any form or way, because regardless of the fact, everybody's a human. We all should respect each other's time and understand that if we're not meant to be together, we're not meant to be together. That goes for friendships or relationships. And just understand that if you are better off with somebody else and you're better off doing whatever you want, then go ahead and do that by all means. I've always wished the best for everybody, but don't waste my time or don't waste other people's time and try to sit around and try to act like you care or try to act like we're going to make this work or anything like that, when that just ain't what it is. It ain't what it is, baby, and you gotta go and let the door hit you on your way out. So, denial and gaslighting. A toxic person is unable or unwilling to see his or her impact on the other person. They deny issues, attempt to gaslight the other person, manipulate events, or attempt to recreate history to put themselves in the best light. So that is very much being the thing of toxicness. You're just making the other person feel like shit all the time because you want to feel better about yourself, because you want to make it seem like you're on top of the world and you know more than everybody, and you're doing this when in a relationship it's a two-way road. I can't drive the car without the steering wheel, you know what I mean? Like, that's just, I can't have a gas with no brake. Like, it's supposed to be a yin and yang situation. Like, you just can't do that to somebody and gaslight them and make them feel like they're crazy or psycho or they don't know what they're doing or anything like that. That's just unacceptable, totally. And then the last one is giving in on everything. When it's important to be willing to give and take, compromise, or even do what other partners want in a healthy relationship. This is expected behavior in a toxic relationship. If you are giving into everything, even if you find morally, personally, or ethically objectable, just to keep the other person happy, you are in a toxic relationship. Yeah, I bet you didn't know that, sucker. Gotcha there. Because I didn't even know that, honestly, because I'm such a giver and I love to give to people. I love it. I can't take enough of it. And I love just making other people happy. So, like, if you're happy, I'd be like, I'm good, even though I'm miserable. Don't do that. That is horrible. I repeat, don't do that. Because that just takes a toll on you personally, and you doing that, just cut the cameras. Just cut the cameras, because I don't want to do this anymore. Because that is just, listen, I personally have done that for years, and giving and giving and giving and trying to please other people and trying to make other people happy, and you're not happy. Listen, baby, you're just gonna be stuck in the same place. So buckle your belt up if you want to sit there and get toasty. But if not, unbuckle that bitch, go and start a new life and do whatever you have to do to get out of that relationship. Because at the end of the day, nobody should suffer. Nobody should be in a relationship they don't want to be in. And everybody should be able to do whatever they want and not hold other people down. Because why are we always damaging people instead of helping people? Got you there, butter. Brother. What is wrong? Swear, I have like so many issues. Recovering from a toxic relationship. It is possible to get out of a toxic relationship. So there is hope for all, no matter who it is. And move forward to find a positive and supportive, healthy relationship. The following tips can help and break from toxicity. Self-care. For men and women. Men can get self-care too. It's not just women. Finding time to care for yourself, learn to care about yourself, again, is a critical piece. And like the guy from Napoleon Dynamite. God damn it, I always do this. Critical and healing and rebalancing your priorities. Yay. Okay. Rebuilding or reconnecting with friends and family who love and care about you often help to align your emotions. Healing with positive relationships with trusted people. But don't surround yourself when you get out of a toxic relationship with a whole bunch of assholes. You do that, you're just gonna you're just going to be going in a big ass cycle. So just don't do that. That goes for everybody, no matter who it is. In therapy, just throwing that out there again. Therapy is great. Therapy helps people. Go therapy. Therapy and counseling are instrumentals in understanding the destructive relationship dynamics of a toxic person. Therapy also helps to establish self-assurance, self-esteem, and which is necessary to prepare for a healthy relationship, because you can't always be like self-help all the way, because you need a professional boo-boo from time to time to tell you what's going on. Okay, it is, one last bit of this toxic relationship. It is possible for toxic partners to make changes and rebuild the relationship. However, he or she must be willing to do the work to make these changes and learn new ways to communicate and interact as a healthy, supportive partner. So if you're in a toxic relationship, or you want to get back with somebody that was toxic at one point, you want to see if they changed, or you want to reach out to them, or you want to try things, or whatever you want to do it. Because people do change. People try and realize that they fucked up and that they want a second chance at you, or if you feel that connection again, reconnect it, don't reconnect it. But moral of the story is, in toxic relationships, always do what's best for you. Always. 99% of the time, always do what's best for you. If the person's being an asshole and they don't find your best interest and they're dragging you down and they are the most ruthless, foulest person and they don't deserve you, leave. Peace out. Deuces. Like, leave, bro. There is really no point of view. And that goes for guys and girls. If you are a boy and you're with a girl that is mistreating you and is very toxic and is always fighting with you and always wants to nag and bitch and moan and just try to control you in every single way, leave her. So many other girls out in the world, if you're young as hell, so many more relationships you're going to get into, so many more bullshits you're going to find. If you have one girl that you messed up with and you want to try with her again, go for it, dude, by all means. But always realize that whenever you are getting into another relationship, don't think with your brain. So just because she's fine, or you think she's real pretty and you want to get in there, think about morally what you should be doing to respect girls, and realize that it takes work to be in a relationship with a woman, because we got a lot of feelings. But that's not also excusing all women's behaviors, people, because if you are a woman and you are dealing with a man and vice versa, he's an asshole and he doesn't treat you well and he's controlling and he might put his hands on you, whatever the situation is, leave. Deuces. Call somebody, let somebody know. Always tell a friend, always have a support system, always have that one person that you reach out to if you are in a toxic relationship and you don't feel safe and you don't feel like you can be with this person anymore. Let people know, let people be there for you, because if you are around people that judge you, they do not love you, they do not want to be there for you. Kick them out of your life as well. Get a new life, reinvent yourself, try to be a better person, and stop with the toxic fucking relationships, people. We are in 2023. We are grown-ass adults. Why are we all trying to be like this number one toxic couples, and toxic is what it is? Like, if you're still thinking toxic relationships are like the shit, go get help. Go get help. Because it's not cute. It's not. With self-improvement, self-improvement for me has been crazy. Honestly, it's been a whirlwind. It's been out of this world experience for me. Like, I can't even put into words like how many emotions I've felt over the past couple months. Sad, angry, happy, mostly sad, but it's okay, because being sad and having your little moments is totally fine and acceptable, because as long as you have those and then you have good moments to cover those up, everything will be fine. But going through my self-improvement journey and trying to figure myself out and trying to understand who I am, doing this podcast, learning more at my job, trying to set new goals for next year, putting new things for my podcast in the works, trying to drop merch, trying to buy new equipment for next season, like just doing everything that I need to do to kind of boost myself up and get myself to a place where I do feel comfortable. And because I don't want to say that this year was total shit, because it wasn't. I've had amazing experiences. I mean, the year's not even over yet. I still have like 2 more months, but just the last couple months have definitely been a whirlwind of emotions. I've learned a lot about myself that I haven't known in a while. I learned new things about myself that I enjoy to do. Just trying to go through life and being by myself majority of my time, and trying to be comfortable in my own skin and being on my own as a young girl. And like, it was just a lot of emotions throughout this year. So I feel like this year people were like, oh, it's the year of motion, no emotion. Like, I really felt like it was the year of emotions. Like, I was fucking crying. Like, I was fucking going through it. I was fucking trying to understand my feelings. I binge watched so much fucking TV. So much TV. I could probably tell you like every movie that's on every fucking little app. And probably I've been watched so many new TV shows that, oh yeah, like so many other TV shows, like it's crazy. So definitely going through my own emotions and realizing that a lot of things that I did go through made me a better person, made me change my ways on a lot of situations of how I thought about life. I used to be very negative. I used to just not want to do anything. I used to be so angry and so mad and just like rah 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 about everything. And then now I'm just like, namaste. Like, I'm so fucking calm. Like, if stuff does make me upset, like, it makes me upset for like 2 minutes, and then like I'm over that shit. Because like, seeking help for yourself and actually trying to understand yourself while you're growing up and trying to piece together your past and just going kind of through everything that you go through, you just always... John was calling me mid-podcast, so I have to text him off my iPad. Hold, please. I'm calling John. So I can tell him I'm in the middle of recording. Are you calling me? I'm in the middle of recording an episode right now.
I forgot.
Are you outside my house?
No.
Okay, what are you doing?
I was gonna tell you I'm on the way.
Oh, okay. Say hi to my podcast. Okay, loser, bye. You're an ass.
Bye.
Okay, so that was John, guys. Anyways, and change yourself for the better, people. Don't just sit around waiting for something to happen, because sitting around and waiting for like Jesus or like a sign or like something to change your mind on the situation, like, that's just never gonna happen. So don't try and be this person that you're not just to please other people, and realize that if somebody doesn't like you, they don't have to like you. If somebody doesn't want to be with you anymore, they don't have to be with you. But if you surround yourself by people who love you, support you, want to be there for you, enjoy your company, and you make a good impact into this world, everything will fall in line for you. I swear. Like, literally, I swear. Sorry. I'm always talking very annoyingly. Oh, some TV shows and some movies. So I think we should start with the TV shows, because oh my god, the TV shows that I have in store for you guys, like, get ready to watch them. First one is 9 Perfect Strangers on Hulu. I can't even tell you right now like what I feel about this show, because it's just so many amazing people in here. We have Nicole Kidman, Luke Evans, Melissa McCarthy, Bobby Calvin, Michael Shannon. Like, this cast of people, just like all these people together, whoever, I mean, I don't even know who directed this, but whoever was putting the show together, thank you. I very much appreciate it. You're awesome. 9 Perfect Strangers is on Hulu. And I think it's on Apple TV, but you gotta pay for that. but Hulu, they have it. Watch it. It's one season. Best one season of your life. It's based on a book. Takes place at a boutique health and wellness resort that promises healing and transformations as 9 stressed city dwellers try to get the path to better life. Watching over them during this 10-day retreat is the resort director Masha, a woman on a mission to reinvent their tired minds and bodies. However, these 9 perfect strangers have no idea what's about to hit them. So it's basically these individuals, like it states, they're all from different places, but kind of like live the same lifestyle. And they're all rich. They all have whatever they could possibly want in life. And they go to this retreat so they can like fix themselves. It's like a family, an older gentleman, a couple, a girl on her own, and then another guy that's just there. So definitely watching this show, it opens your mind up to realize that the most perfect of people, the most people that have it put together, are really the most ones that are more likely going through it than anybody, because they're so fit to be so perfect and so amazing and awesome and fantastic that they don't realize how crazy they're making themselves. So I would highly recommend watching 9 Perfect Strangers on Hulu. It's a very good self-help realization kind of show, if that makes sense. Another TV show that I loved so much that I wish there was a season 2. I don't know why there's not a season 2 yet. I wish there was, because oh my lord, would I watch it again. It's on Apple TV. It has my baby boy Tom Holland in it. We love Tom Holland. He's with my girl Zendaya. I act like I know them when we hang out, but those are my people. Emmy Rossum from Shameless. She plays in another movie. She plays in a lot of shit, but Shameless was like her prize pick as Fiona. She plays as the mother in this movie. I mean, in this TV show. 10 out of 10. The TV show is called The Crowded Room. I can't even put it like 10 out of 10 for this entire season. Like, this TV show was so psychologically twisting and just mind-bending, and really it shows you what somebody with different personalities feels like, and it shows you what it looks like, and it shows you how crazy one can be so obsessed with their work and turn into something else. And it really opens your eyes to the world and a lot of other things that go on. So I would highly recommend watching The Crowded Room. It also has Amy Seyfried in it. Oh, not Amy, Amanda Seyfried in it. She plays in The Dropout, I think that's on Hulu. She plays in Jennifer's Body. That's who Amanda Seyfried is, if you guys know what Jennifer's Body is. That's another good psychologically, like, thriller kind of TV show that I like to watch. Ratched, great. Another, it's on Netflix. It has Sarah Paulson in it, Finn Wittig, Cynthia Nixon, Judy Davis, Sherry Stone, like so many good actresses in this show. Like, it's unbelievable. It's about a young nurse at a mental institution becomes jaded and bitter before turning into a full-fledged monster to her patients. But there's a twist in there that you just have to watch it to understand, because if I just give it away, like, it won't make sense for me to putting it up here. But it's a great psychological TV show. It's drama, it's thriller. It keeps you on your toes. Sarah Paulson is amazing in this show. Like, I probably watched this in a weekend. Like, it's only one season, so I watched it in like just one weekend. But The Crowded Room was actually in Manhattan the summer of 1979. A young man is arrested for a shocking crime. An unlikely investigator must solve the mystery behind it before the true criminal strikes again. So that was The Crowded Room, and then the other one was The Ratched with the nurse. Movies. Oh my god, movies. I could have picked like any other movies, but these 3 like really spoke out to me, especially from what I'm talking about. My brother put me on to this movie, so shout out to my brother for that. We love Robert De Niro. Like, me and my brother can eat up his movies. And Martin Scorsese, I think that's how you say his name, but He makes all the Godfathers, Goodfellas, all the mob movies. He's just fantastic. He made a movie recently, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I think with Leonardo DiCaprio in it, or was that Spielberg? No, I think that was him. But this movie is called Taxi Driver. Taxi Driver is such a riveting masterpiece that I honestly can't even wrap my head around like how good it is, because when I watched it, it's from 1976, by the way. So there's your Taxi Driver is just chef's kiss, 10 out of 10. You can watch it on YouTube, Apple TV, Prime Video. You got to pay for it though, but let me tell you, it's worth the little $3. Let me tell you. Taxi driver suffering from insomnia, disturbed loner Travis Pickle, by Robert De Niro, that's who his name is, takes a job as a New York City cabbie, haunting the streets nightly, growing increasingly detached from reality as he dreams of cleaning up the filthy city. When Travis meets pretty campaign worker Betsy, he becomes obsessed with the idea of saving the world, first plotting to assassinate a presidential candidate, and then directing his attention towards rescuing a 12-year-old prostitute, Iris. So Taxi Driver is a thriller. It's psychological. It's just, it shows you through a different point of view how loneliness is taking over somebody's life. So, loneliness, it affects the body like a virus. Self-preservation ultimately acts as one life support. Robert De Niro just played this guy like just so well. Like, I couldn't even put into words how this movie just was made. The acting, the end of the movie, the beginning, just the movie all the way around was just amazing. So definitely watch Taxi Driver if you've never watched it, by Robert De Niro and Martin Scorsese. Very good movie. Another movie that I love very much is Luckiest Girl Alive with Mila Kunis. Fit Whittaker's in it again. He plays in The Ratchet as well. The Luckiest Girl Alive is a writer's perfectly crafted New York City life. Starts with to unravel when a true crime documentary forces her to confront her harrowing high school history and questions the choices she's made as a teenager. So it's definitely a psychological thriller as well. Another one, Mila Kunis is very good in this movie. She's also very good in another movie that she played with. Now that I'm thinking about Mila Kunis, she played in Luckiest Girl Alive, and there was another one that she played in. I just can't think about it. Oh, 4 Good Days. 4 Good Days was a good one. You can watch that on Hulu or Peacock. It's emerging from a detox clinic. A young addict tries to stay clean while living with her mother for the next 4 days. So she has to be clean and sober for the next 4 days while she lives with her mother. That movie is 10 out of 10. Luckiest Girl Alive and 4 Good Days by Mila Kunis. Such good psychological movies. Such good, like, just point of views of being a woman, understanding yourself, going through something scary at a time, psychologically, like, just rips you open as a girl and makes you cry because you're just like, oh my god, that could have been me, or oh my god, that's so scary. Like, just realizing how movies portray women is, and Mila Kunis just kind of just chef kissed her way through all of these. So good job for her. And then Alice Darling with Anna Kendrick in it. Oh my god, like, what? I love Anna Kendrick in Pitch Perfect and Trolls and anything that she's played in. I love me some Anna Kendrick. And Twilight, like, oh my god. Okay, so Alice Darling, this actually goes to one of my topics talking about, so that's why I also wanted to add this. Pushed to the Breaking Point by Simon. Her psychological abusive boyfriend, Alice, rediscovers the essence of herself and gains some much-needed preservation while on vacation with two close girlfriends. However, Simon's vengeance is inventably as it's shattering, and once unleashed, it tests her strength and her courage and the bonds of deep-rooted friendships. So this is about a movie about a toxic relationship, about dealing with a guy that's just very horrible to her, but she finds a way out, but he's very controlling. So definitely Anna Kendrick did her thing with this movie, because you definitely feel it. You feel like you're in the movie. You feel like you understand what she's going through. 10 out of 10, like probably one of my top favorite movies psychologically. Made is also 10 out of 10 series. It's a drama. It's on Netflix. It's a single mother, Alex, turns to house cleaning to make ends meet as she escapes an abusive relationship and overcomes homelessness to create a better life for her daughter, Maddie. Made, I've watched Made. It's one season and I watched it like I don't even know how many times, because understanding her feelings, just the girl that played Alex, just the people in the TV show, like Made definitely made me more understanding about people being in abusive relationships and understanding that. So thank you to whoever made Made, because that TV show was amazing. So definitely watch those. So those are like a couple movies and TV shows that you guys can watch. And I think that's gonna wrap up my podcast, because I have to go and handle my shit for today. So thank you for watching Out of My Mind podcast. As always, it's a pleasure to make these episodes. I will be releasing my last episode for this season, which is kind of crazy to say out loud. But after this episode, I will have one more, and that one would be my closer for this season. But going through life and realizing what you have and realizing what you do for a living, be so much appreciated, be thankful every day that you're allowed to walk on this earth and be around people that love you and support you. Please keep watching my Out of My Mind podcast. Please feel free to reach out if you connect with something, or you want to hear about something, or you want me to talk about a certain subject, whatever the situation is. I'm always down for it. And thank you a lot for allowing me to actually have a platform to be able to speak about a lot of mental health stuff, because I feel like there's not many advocates out there that do talk about this certain situations and try to understand both parts of a man and a woman's kind of perspective on situations. So I really appreciate that I'm able to just upload these videos and people are able to like them or laugh to them or just watch them because they're nosy, whichever you guys want to do. But thank you for watching Out of My Mind podcast. Please tune in. I think next week I'm dropping my next one. I'm not going to make any promises because I suck, okay? I already know I suck at dropping these. You don't have to tell me. I'm doing all of this still solo dolo. So, excuse me. I'm trying my best. Thanks for watching Out of My Mind podcast. As always, it's a pleasure. Like and subscribe. And we are out.